Hey everyone, and welcome to So You Want to Be a Vampire. This panel's been created for SwampCon, so thank you SwampCon for having us. This panel's going to be about a local Parlor LARP game that is Vampire the Masquerade focused. We're just going to go through what the game is, different clans you could play if you decided to try out the game, and how you would get started. So let's go ahead and get going. So what is Vampire the Masquerade? So Vampire the Masquerade is part of the World of Darkness universe, which was created and started as a tabletop game in the early 90s. 1991, I believe, was the first year that the first game came out and was published. Since its initial launch at the start of the 90s, a lot of different media has come out for Vampire the Masquerade. You have tabletop games, you have video games, predominantly Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was really popular and is being followed up soon by Bloodlines 2. The franchise has made a bunch of other video games, including Coteries of New York and their expansion Shadows of New York, which came out last year. Bloodlines 2 is in the works, and a lot of people are really excited for it because Bloodlines 1 was such a hit. There's been a bunch of smaller games, either text-based or just small-style RPG, as well as new versions of the tabletop game that have come out occasionally. The most recent one is called V5. It is, as you see on the screen, it's a new and improved version of the vampire universe according to the publishers. Popular podcasts have started picking up Vampire the Masquerade as well, including This is LA by Night, which has been running for several years now and has a huge following on Geek and Sundry. It is based on the World of Darkness Vampire the Masquerade universe and lore. So why vampires? There's a lot of different LARPs and games and things you could check out. Why would you go to a vampire one? So vampires have been around in culture for literally millennia. There's old tales about how to fend off vampires, throwing marbles on the ground because they're compelled to count things before they can follow you. Old myths and legends, and people have always been fascinated with vampirism. You can tell just by popular movies, including like Interview with a Vampire, Lost Boys, Underworld, including television series like True Blood, Vampire Diaries, the originals, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And those are the more serious leaning. You also have goofy vampires. You have What We Do in the Shadows. You have Dark Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows became so popular that they created a television show, which is coming up on its third season. And it's on FX and Hulu if you want to check it out. And if you created a vampire, the good thing is you can be as serious or as goofy as you want to be. There's no range of what a vampire has to be, just like the media of vampires. So you kind of are unlimited in what you can do, except like you're a vampire. So what is a parlor LARP? I'm sure that you're at this con, you've probably heard the word LARP before. And what LARP stands for is live action roleplay. Most of the time when you think of a LARP, you think of some people out in a field or in the woods hitting each other with foam swords. And that is a type of LARP. That's called a boffer LARP. But this is not that kind of LARP. This is a parlor LARP. We play in a parlor. Sometimes that's a bar. Sometimes that's the park. We've been known to play at the Midnight downtown, which has been moved and is at a new location. We've been known to play in the park sometimes, depending on the weather. Sometimes it's really nice out. And the best thing I can equate it to is like a tabletop game, but you take away the table, and it's a bit more improv acting and reacting and that kind of stuff. But you talk to each other. We have props, we have newspapers, we have a rule book. So that's kind of the feel you're going to get. And it is free. Not all LARPs are free, but ours is pretty much entirely free. Usually, depending on our venue, we'll ask people to remember to patron the location that we're at, but we're not going to ask you for money to be able to play our game. Anyone can come out and try it, whether you have tons of experience or no experience, tons of money or no money. Like, you can come play with us and hang out, and we'll be willing to hang and chill and teach you this game and have a great time. So you're saying to yourself, but it's a pandemic. That's the reason I'm not sitting in an actual panel and instead watching you on this stream. And you are correct. It is a pandemic, and that's been really hard in the LARP community. This is not live action is what we do as LARPers, but we're also really adaptive. So our current game setup has been running on Discord. We've been running on Discord now since April of last year, so that's a full year playing 2 times a month on Discord. And it's been an adjustment. It's obviously not exactly the same, but our players have really been able to adjust, and it's been a really good tool to really flesh out conversations with each other. You're able to drop lots of pictures and photographs to describe like who you are and what you're wearing and where you're at and what the location looks like. And it's been people have really pulled together, and we're still getting new players even through the pandemic. Some of these people I've not met before, but I can't wait to meet them when we're able to do some sort of live game situation again. But we are remaining safe because we know it's a pandemic, so don't worry about that. So the clans. Clans in Vampire the Masquerade are kind of like your races or your roles, kind of a combination of the two. There are different types of vampires. Not every vampire comes in the same flavor. They have different clans, and each clan has its kind of its own stereotype, and we're gonna go through those. First clan we've got is Clan Bruja. Clan Bruja are the brawlers, the bikers, the kind of rough and tumble guys. Bruja were modeled after the Lost Boys. If that biker in your face, I'm gonna beat you up mentality. A lot of things about Bruja include fighting for fun, giving into your passions, just riling yourself up. But not every Bruja is a biker. You know, there's a lot of different flavors of Bruja. But they do tend to trend the more street kid, biker, in your face type of vampire. They know what they're about. They're not ashamed of who they are and what they're about, and they'll kick your ass if you think any different. The next clan we've got is Clan Malkavian. So Clan Malkavian, they're crazy. Every person in Clan Malkavian, when they were turned into a vampire, their mind kind of shattered and got twisted. So they all come into the game with what they call enlightenment, but what the rest of us see as derangements. They are the children of the broken mirror. And that can be as in your face or as subtle as you want. Sometimes the scariest thing about a Malkavian is that you don't know that they're crazy, or that you do know that they're crazy, but you're not sure what flavor of crazy. And that can be terrifying, especially interacting with them. You don't know what's going to set them off. You don't know what they're thinking. But this madness that's kind of inherently in them also they are the seers of the vampire world. A lot of your oracles, seers, prophets, they come from Clan Malkavian because they're able to use their crazy to see the future, in a sense. So that is Clan Malkavian. Children of the Moon, Children of the Broken Mirror. They are delightful, terrifying, and very crazy. So the next clan we're going to talk about are called the Ventrue. The Ventrue fancy themselves the kings of the vampire world. Kings of the boardroom, kings of the anything, really. They are drawn to power. Power, money, influence in the human world. That's going to be where your Ventrue are found. A lot of them are typically modeled after the Dracula stereotypes of the powerful, business-like, but deadly stereotypical vampire. I would say Clan Ventrue is your classic Dracula vampire that you think of when you think of a classic vampire. They're cutthroat. They're not going to pull a punch. They will politically, financially, influentially wreck your life if you get on their wrong side. They're a powerful enemy and a powerful ally. And they look really good in suits. The next clan we're going to talk about is one of my personal favorites. It's Clan Gangrel. So Clan Gangrel are the shapeshifters. They turn into beasts. They turn into animals. Now you're saying, Jordan, this just sounds like a werewolf, but vampire. And I'm not going to say you're wrong. That's probably the demographic that they were going for when they originally created Clan Gangrel. But they've morphed into something very much their own thing. They are, in essence, vampires. They are not werewolves, which are a different part of the world of darkness. And you can tell when you look at the two next to each other, they are not the same thing. Gangrel are definitely vampires, but they've let the inner beast of being a vampire push through them so much that it actually manifests on their body. Over time, Gangrel will take on traits to their bodies and to their forms of animals that you can't get rid of. It's not you turn into a wolf and you turn back and you look entirely human. You might have fur all over your body. You might have the eyes of a hawk. You might have weird, like, amphibious ears. You might have scales all over your body. That's just what happens to Gangrel. That's their curse as vampires, is that they slowly turn into the beasts that they are on the inside. And that can be a lot of fun, especially picking traits that work well together. You can create a really cool looking character over time. I personally play a Gangrel. It was my first character, and I love her dearly, and I really love the clan. Our next clan in the roundup is Clan Toreador. I also play a Toreador, so this is my second favorite clan. Clan Toreador, in my mind, is your classic interview with a vampire. They're extra, they're bougie, they're dramatic as all get out. They're the vampire you see walking through the halls barefoot with a glass of wine in their hands. Toreador are often seductive, and they are very ingrained in humanity. A lot of the vampire clans tend to stay away from humanity as a whole. Toreador like to go out into the human world and ingrain themselves in it. They're kind of obsessed with it. Toreador are also the clan of artisans. That is what they are mostly known for, is being artists. Most Toreador that are embraced are either artists, critics of art, or muses to other artists. They're just drop dead gorgeous and inspire everyone that look at them. So you'll see a lot of craftsmen and artists and musicians and performers throughout Clan Toreador. Toreador are also known as the Clan of the Rose. So that iconography is used a lot with Toreador. They're generally beautiful, artistic, dramatic. They're very extra. They like to gossip a lot. You'll always get really good gossip if you talk to a Toreador. but they are a very essential clan in the vampire world. And like I said, a lot of vampires in pop culture are going to have very Toreador-esque personalities and mannerisms. So the next clan is Clan Nosferatu. So you've probably heard the word Nosferatu before. It is a classic silent film from the era of silent films that's kind of scared and shocked everyone when it first came out. Watching it now, it's a little funny, but back then it was terrifying. And Nosferatu as vampires have been prominent for a very long time. You see here the original Nosferatu, and you see a copied version that was shown in the original What We Do in the Shadows movie. Nosferatu are a really cool clan. They are ugly. You cannot be a pretty Nosferatu. Your clan flaw, what you get as a vampire, is you're ugly. Generally, Nosferatu, they live in the sewer. They are like masters of the underground because they have to live there. They can't live above ground. They are just too ugly and too monstrous. It's obvious that they're not human. Because they live underground and in the shadows and kind of can keep everything to themselves, they are also the spy masters of the vampire world. Nosferatu know everything. They create dossiers on people. There's a lot of hackers and spies and people who collect information, and not only do they collect the information, they sell the information. If you want to know something and a Nosferatu knows it, you are going to pay up. They're not going to give it to you for free. And they're just really quirky and fun because, I mean, look at this art, look at these costumes. That's not just a pretty person who threw on a dress and some makeup and they're a vampire now. This is effort, and it's a really appealing to people. It's a fun clan. They're very familial. It's a fun clan. So those were the 6 main clans that you can play within the local game. There are other clans in Camarilla and also in the vampire world. The Tremere are known as blood mages and wizards of the vampire world. The Assamites are known as scholars and assassins. Weird combo, but it works. And then there's Caitiff, which are just kind of leftover. They generally don't have very powerful blood, but because they're so... A caitiff is what happens when a vampire embraces someone and they don't come out as the right clan. They come out as something else. And that can be sometimes scary in that they're known as the bringers of the apocalypse. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but there's this weird paranoia around caitiff. And they're generally fairly normal looking, but they got weird ass powers sometimes. So that was all of the clans. Just a brief overview for you guys. The smallest snippet of what I could tell you. I could talk about this stuff for hours. But if you're interested, if I caught your attention and you want to learn more, there are a few different ways you can go about that. The best way, in my opinion, is to go to our website. Our local game's name is called St. Augustine on Haunted Ground. While it says it's St. Augustine and our game in the game is located in St. Augustine, we do play here in Gainesville, Florida. You do not need to drive to St. Augustine to play in our game. It is just the location of where the characters live. We are a Gainesville-based game, and most of our players live in Gainesville, though we do have players that come from Tampa, come from Jacksonville, come from Ocala, just because they enjoy our game and want to come play with us. But check out the website. It has a bunch of information. It has information for new players. It has full write-ups on all of the clans I just mentioned. It has information about the setting, different NPCs, non-playable characters that you might meet if you come play our game. It has local newspapers. I make a newspaper for every game, and there's a backlog of all of them. And there's some crazy stuff in there. There's our rule books, there's other rules, there's contact information, there's information on where we play, which again right now is on Discord. It's a great place to start, and it has a lot of information if you're the type of person that just likes to go and absorb lots of information about something. If you're more of a social person and you want to learn that way, we do have a Facebook group for the game as well. Anyone is allowed to join. You just have to request and we will accept you into the group. And you can ask questions. It's a lot of memes. Any vampire memes or supernatural-esque memes we find, we will put onto the Facebook page. And the whole community of players is there too. So you can talk to them, you can ask them any questions you have, you can just pop in and introduce yourself and like, hey, I heard about your game, I'm a little interested, tell me about it. And I will hop on it, lots of our players will hop on it, it'll be a great time. We also have a just general Facebook page, which is not only for our game, the St. Augustine game, but there's a few other games that live in the same universe as our game, and they are all together on the this Gainesville area World of Darkness LARP page. Now, if none of those different methods were great for you, or you just want to learn more, here's our contact info. We have a social Discord, which is separate from our game Discord. It's just a place where people can be social. And a lot of times new people will join the Discord and either ask questions or ask for help or just to get to know other people. So there's that Discord link for you for the Vampire Social Chat. It's a very original name, I know. Or if you just want to talk to me directly, if you are like, Jordan, I have questions, I don't know where to find the information anywhere else. Can you help me out? My email is right here. It's going to be saintaugsts@gmail.com. That's again saintaugsts with an S on the end @gmail.com. Please remember that S on the end, or else you will accidentally email a Catholic church about a vampire game, and that's really awkward. It's happened a few times. I've explained to the church that it's a mistake. We're not trying to like troll them, but it's what happens. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you are intrigued and want to find out more. If so, just reach out to me. Check out the website. Check out the Facebook group. Join our Discord. Join our game Discord. Make a character. Try it out. What's the worst that could happen? I'll see you guys around. Later.